Hail and Mesher's Kingdom, welcome to Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred. And this Warlock over here is officially broken. I'm using this build right now and pushing through the torments like through butter. We run and move extremely fast, at the same time we got stealth, so technically we are unkillable. The damage is already millions on a tooltip, but with combination of all bonuses we'll have, we going straight into billions. Yeah, it's completely broken and overpowered build. Completing war plans super easy and super fast. And at the same time we don't need any super special gear or super rare stuff. But all of this possible thanks for our set of new items, charms. I will explain how to get them, how to make this build working, and everything you need to completely destroy everything you see in Diablo 4. So let's start with the basics, how build function. While this build can be played without any active skills at all, I'm still using one just for quality of life in most cases. Dread Claws. You probably already saw, it's one of the most used skills of this patch, I guess. So basically you're summoning a bunch of claws and they attacking enemy. Nothing crazy here. This skill will use Wrath as your attribute, as your resource, and to replenish this resource we will use Command Fallen. So Command Fallen will create fallen guys, little minions, and whenever these guys attack, we instantly restore our Wrath. Therefore we will stay on maximum Wrath all the time while they're attacking. You see, basically I got unlimited Wrath right now, and that's pretty crazy. And it's especially crazy in the boss fights when these guys attacking non-stop, and yeah, we can just stand still and spam button and we always get a lot of resource. So main part goes from our ascendancy, from our proficiency, from our soul shards. I'm going with Mastermind Shard, and recast skills no longer break Shadow Form, but it costs 2 stacks of Shadow Form per cast. While you have Shadow Form, other skills deal 30% increased damage and you gain increased movement speed. So this means we need somehow to get Shadow Form, which gives us unhindered and stealth, and we will have a lot of increased damage and movement speed all the time. At the same time, Blasphemous Fragment over here will give me ability to make my recast skills hexable, so they will hex enemies, and it's stackable debuff that will increase damage taken by enemies by 45%, which is pretty insane considering we're dealing millions and millions of damage. Now, here's the fun part, we will run around and we will always be in a shadow form. Yes, so we're constantly having this buff, if you do the build correctly. And now we get a lot of our damage, and we will use this damage not by ourselves in most cases, but with our demons. So we got Profane Sentinel, which is demon number 1, basically this big eye, and that's a recast skill, therefore this recast skill will apply hex to target, and at the same time it applies vulnerability, and if enemy is vulnerable it will apply slow. You will see how it all kind of binds up together, but also this eye doing pretty crazy damage, 4.5k right now on a tooltip, but after like all casts, all full buffs, debuffs, it's already at 15 million, so if enemy takes extra damage, if a critical strike, it actually hits for 1 billion damage already, so that's pretty crazy. So there's one more guy, Terror Swarm. It's our ultimate ability, it's Greater Demon Summon, and this swarm basically stays on the ground and attacks enemies, and it follows enemies by itself. So technically you can run around in stealth form and this swarm will destroy everyone by itself. I'm focusing on cooldown recovery right now, more on that in the gear part of this video, but anyway, this stuff is pretty crazy. So you see, enemies don't care that we are nearby, we're creating this swarm, and then we're just running around. However, you see the swarm can go into different directions, but I can teleport it to me. Yes, and same goes for Mr. I, and that's like how cool and powerful this build is. Every time we teleport, actually it increases duration of the swarm by 3 seconds, so technically we create swarm, we create eye, and we teleport around, we are invisible, and they will destroy everyone by themselves. So that's basically how we play. While we're doing this, cooldown goes off, and technically we will have have almost no cooldown on these skills later on. If you're having any troubles, there is one more skill, and if you see there's like little shadow nearby and it applies vulnerable to targets. Yes, and whenever I will try to attack targets, this shadow will come from the ground in the form of a big worm, and this worm will also attack enemies. It's Lalish. Lalish is insanely cool friend. He applies vulnerable and slow targets, and also it deals insane damage, but also you can actually make him active. And when he is active, he doing this crazy stuff. He creates a big like zone with shadow form, and that's pretty crazy. You can stay in shadow form and just stand still and destroy everyone. Yeah, so that's the build. Basic gameplay loop looks like this. You just drop everything. You see that everything is probably dead or almost dead, and you instantly teleport, move your demons, and move forward. So this build is super fast and clears like Hell Tides, clears pits, clears Undercity, and any other activities where you need to be fast, super fast. It's very fun and cool build in this regard. So that's how the build kind of functions. Now let's talk about how you can make this work. So to make this work, you need correct allocation of skills, and people asked me for a planner, but I never use any websites. Sorry, I'm doing everything in game, and you can just print screen and copy all the stuff needed. Right now I will show you everything. Basically we're using command fallen with dominance. To regenerate the dominance, we're using dominance to summon Mr. I, and with wrath, so they giving us basically unlimited resource. Since we're getting bonus to other skills, bonus damage, I'm using this Fallen Rush to make the skill other skill, so that's basically the idea. So Dread Claws, our basic skill, Cascading Dread, dealing more damage, cost reduction to spam it more often, and Ambush to deal more damage from stealth. We're always in stealth, so why not? There's one more option that you may test. A Blazing Scream is Demonology Hellfire skill, but if you pick Abyssal Oppression, it will become Abyssal Recast skill. So it will apply Hex to targets, it will apply Vulnerable to targets, it's super useful stuff. At the same time it deals nice damage, I guess, and also it gains damage from our movement speed. Our movement speed is high in this shadow form, so it's pretty nice idea to actually try and play this. Actually, let's just do it right now. That's another version. We will try to run Blazing Scream for now. We'll see how it works. Anyway, that one is really important. It's our nether step. That's how we can be super survival, and we're definitely gaining additional charge for it and movement speed bonus. Now, here's the trick. If you're clearing Hell Tides and other activities and you need speed, you want to go for Shadow Recall, because that's how you move your demons with you. So that's how you basically can move around the map. I and our ultimate will always trail with us, and that's basically how you clear. But if you're in a boss fight, if you want to beat Uber Lilith or any other like super crazy boss, Gloomwalker is your choice. Basically, you will be able to go underground and you will be immune for 3 seconds with increased cooldown recovery and all the stuff. You can spam the skill and basically be unkillable all the time, avoid any crazy effects, and that's how you easily can beat bosses. So very nice stuff. Then we get Profane Sentinel with single target damage against bosses and beam area, so it attacks more targets, because that's my main source of hex right now. Probably I will change it to Narrow Blast if it will be my boss blaster, if Blazing Scream works nice and fun. And we're using Focused Glare. That's the only skill you want to pick here, because you don't want Sentry. It will no longer be recast skill and it won't work with the build. Then we're getting ultimate, maxing it out, and that's it basically. So Terror Swarm with Devouring Swarm. Nightmare is also an option, but I don't like to control this stuff, so it's auto-casted and attacks everything inside. Pull and extra bites for additional damage, so that's basically it. We will talk about Paragon later. Now, most important part. It will work if you just allocate skills correctly and will use skills correctly. If you create Mr. I, if you create the Swarm, you teleport with them, so they go with you, you will be pretty powerful. Okay, so this skill is recast skill. Looks fun, I don't know. It actually attacks enemies and like one-shots them. Yes? yeah, skill is fun actually. You should try it. Oh my goodness. It actually deals like how much damage? Oh my goodness. It's crazy. This setup will basically give you ability to go straight to like Torment 5 maybe with good gear. But now to actually push to Torment 12 you need this set. This set is super broken. Now how it works? You need seal and then you need set. Set of shadow. That's the main thing. So enemies within shadow form are dominated for 7 seconds. Basically, you're always in shadow form and they will be dominated for 7 seconds. This means all enemies won't attack you no matter what. They will be actually acting like your minions, they will be doing nothing, and you can even command them with recast skills, but more often than not, you will just see how your minions destroy them, so they won't even act. Second bonus, when you get 3 pieces, you're getting reduced damage taking by 25%, and you will leave Sigil of Subversion behind you. This Sigil of Subversion is actually the thing that keeps it going. So that's basically how it works. You use Nether Step and you gain 4 stacks of Shadow Form and you instantly start to spread Shadow Form and it will never end. And you will be basically unkillable, invisible all the time. You will be in stealth. And then with full bonus, you're getting this crazy bonus. Other skills will have 350% increased damage while you're in Shadow Form, but each stack consumes 1 stack. Dominated enemies will take 100% extra damage, so you keep doing double damage to them, which is pretty crazy. And consuming stacks is not really a problem when you're generating them all the time. My middle charm over here got 5 slots, increased critical strike damage, which is fine, and also it got 2 bonuses for Shadow Set. That's basically what you're looking for. If there's only 1 bonus for Shadow Set, I got Shadow Form damage reduction and Shadow damage. All our skills is Shadow damage, so like pretty straightforward. Now, if you got only 1 Shadow Form Shadow Set bonus, you want to look for a second bonus that will unlock extra slot. There's charms, there's seals with extra slot. And for extra slot, you're looking for anything with +2, +3 to your demonology or to your Abyss skills. And this is my unique charm. Abyss skills deals extra damage while we're in Shadow Form, and also 100% more bonus while we're in stealth. Very nice and powerful, but I don't have extra slot right now. Maybe we'll unlock it later. Anyway, you're probably having troubles actually in this season with items, maybe, but I already cracked the code how to get any item you want, how to craft them, how to do the stuff, and if you subscribe, you will not miss tomorrow's video where I will explain everything you need to know about endgame in Diablo for this season. But in this video I will explain how to get this set, because you want this set to be broken. So basically you will get a bunch of set charms, no matter what, you will get them, and you need 5 different charms, and it's super hard to get them if you want to just prey on RNG. So you want to use Horadric Cube. It's located over here, and Horadric Cube, when you drop 3 talismans inside, will give you ability to transmute items 3 to 1. So you feed him set charms basically, and you transmute them, and you pray to get Shadow Set. So that's basically what you want to do. Then, when you finally get your Shadow Set, that's by the way kinda completely free. Yeah, so when you get your Shadow Set, let's pretend this is Shadow Set Talisman. There is actually 5 different parts. So it's Biru, Phoba, Blur, and so on. But you can't get 5 Biru talismans, charms. Basically you need all of them. And there's reroll set charm button. So you basically need to use this primordial dust, you need to use infused Horadric resin, and you can transmute it as much as you wish, and it will just rotate through different talismans in one single set. And that's basically what you want to do next. You want to roll for like good affixes on top, so +1 to demonology skills. It's nice, probably we can get it better. So when I will get next Shadow Talisman, I will just roll it over here to see if I can get anything good. And it basically rolls through all 5 different variants, and you can just roll, and you can get the set super fast. It's like very easy. Yeah, so that's what you do. If you're looking for a good bonus for Shadow Set, basically you just drop 3 of of rare seals, like unique seals, legendary seals, whatever, and you're trying to fish for your double shadow bonus or shadow bonus and one additional charm slot. So that's how you can get this crazy and super overpowered shadow set. Now with shadow set we kinda done with everything, but what about build? So about the runes, I don't know. I don't see any actually like cool and powerful runes over here. So this season I decided to use only one rune combination. So I'm using casting defensive skill grants you... No, I'm using cast ultimate skill one time. I will gain a lot of power and then I'm getting more critical hit chance. So it's Zangar rune combination. For stones, I'm getting only willpower in my helmet, in my pants, and in my weapons I'm getting shadow damage multiplier. All of our skills are shadow damage, so that's basically what we're running over here. And then in our jewelry, it's resistance to all elements. Most importantly, let's talk about our Codex of Power and our aspects. By the way, I forgot, but you probably should know it, but in Occultist you can salvage charms, so just salvage all this stuff and you will get this resource to reroll after. So, Codex of Power. I will show you loads of stuff because this season it feels like it drops a lot less, it's harder to get, so it's very random, and I kinda finalized what Codex of Power I want over here, and that's basically what I'm using. Aspect of Shelter on my body armor, casting defensive skill grants you increased all resistances for 10 seconds, Nether Step is defensive skill, so that's how it works. Juggernaut aspect on my pants, it gives us pretty nice and big chunk of armor, and our toughness right now is almost 500k. Without pants it drops by half, like 200k toughness, 250k toughness actually from our pants. Yeah, that's how it works. So that's defensive aspects. Now I'm using two utility aspects. Aspect of Fiendish Oppression on my helmet. Summoning Greater Demon will knock down enemies and lesser demons will deal more damage. So Greater Demons is all over the place. Basically we stun enemies all the time. Just nice stuff for survival. But I'm looking for a nice unique helmet. I will explain you what in the next part of the video. Bane Link aspect over here. Hexed enemies are slowed when you make them vulnerable, or they will become vulnerable when you slow them. We always make them vulnerable, we always make them slow, so that's like extra stuff on top. It's right now on my boots. Probably I will change it later for something else, but that's basically what I'm running right now. Now, our most important part is offensive aspects, and I made favorite bunch of them, so you will see what I'm using right now and also what you may use. So if you don't have stuff that I have right now, or maybe you rolled high tier other aspects, you can use them. Aspect of Binding Morals right now is on my ring. So close enemies, those you deal indirect damage to are slowed by 62%, and also you deal 26% increased damage to slowed enemies. We always slow enemies, therefore it's nice little increased damage to our enemies. Then another option is other skills will deal increased damage equal to our shadow resistance damage reduction. Right now my shadow damage reduction is 64%, so it will increase our damage by 30%, basically the same stuff like Binding Morals, so technically they're the same. Another one that you may use is aspect of Inner Calm, and you will just stand still and you will have increased damage. Nice powerful stuff. Another one is aspect of Peril, making enemy vulnerable, increases damage you do to them by 2.5% up to 50%. I don't know, sounds good, but in my experience most of monsters die super fast, so I don't see any reason to use this actually right now, because there is no way to actually stack this damage, in my opinion, but still you may use it, probably it's a nice one. Then aspect of Reanimation right now is on my offhand weapon. Your summons gain increased damage while alive up to 71%, and right now we're using Blazing Scream. It's our summon skill. Command Fallen is summon skill, Terror Swarm and Command Lalish, all of them are summons. So right now we get perfect combination, and basically all of our guys will have increased damage while they're alive. Pretty cool. Another option is Edgemaster aspect. Skills deal up to 55% increased damage based on your primary resource. This can really nicely increase our damage. But I'm using Insidious aspect. Other skills deal 73% more damage, increased to enemies who have not hit you in the last 2 seconds. Enemies won't hit us anyway. We are invisible all the time, we are moving, so I'm using it on my sword. Then we got the remorseless aspect, which is also an option. Killing at least 30 enemies increases your damage by 55% for 10 seconds. Nice for fast activities, not very good for bossing. And brawler aspect is on my talisman right now. Talisman actually gives more power to any aspect you're infused with, and this brawler aspect gives me more damage if I cast ultimate skill. So that's kinda cool stuff. Also, it gives 2 ranks to ultimate skills. Now, here's the fun part. I told you there's a bunch of items I'm looking for, and I'm trying to get them. Don't have them yet, but you will see what I'm hunting for. Rictus of Terror will make Lalish ultimate skill, so it will complement our previous aspects that I told you that we can use. It will last longer, and our other skills will execute enemies at the same time. So this Lalish guy is actually deals a nice chunk of damage. Therefore, it's really cool skill. Other uniques you may want to find. So, Footfalls of Warning World. I still don't know loot tables of this patch, so I don't know where to get them. But your weight will become Nether Step, and your weight cooldown is reduced by 1 second as you lose or consume Shadow Form stacks. Basically, we're losing or consuming stacks all the time with this build, and it will make our evade 0 cooldown, and we will be able to teleport all the time. So that's really powerful, considering we don't have really good and useful aspect on our boots anyway. Then it's interesting. Dagger, one-handed. Dread Claws will deal increased damage and additional claws fire out when you gain a stack of Shadow Form. Again, we're gaining stacks of Shadow Form all the time, so technically we can become auto bomber that runs around and shoots enemies left and right all the time. Pretty fun if you're using this Dread Claws and not Skeleton, Demon, Skull, whatever the skill is. For offhand, Night Terror is a unique amulet. Oh, it's amulet, it's not for offhand, it's for amulet slot. Other skills will deal increased damage for each stack of Shadow Form, and the bonus is increased by 100% while you have stealth. So that's something to keep an eye on, but I don't think it's like super overpowered, and probably I won't keep it. But if you got some nice roll on it, why not? Unique Ring, Seal of Ophanim. Profane Sentinel deals increased damage and summons additional eye that follows you for 10 seconds. Sentinel is OP, creating 1 more eye will be double OP, so it's pretty crazy stuff. Why not? And 1 more amulet that you can consider. Seat of Horizon. Your demonology skills deal increased damage per wrath you have, and you take reduced damage per dominance you have. So basically we're not consuming dominance, almost never consume dominance. Therefore it's kinda nice amulet, but numbers are just super low. So 0.67%, of course we can increase it to 1%, but basically our dominance, no, our wrath is 110, so demonology skills will deal 100% increased damage. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, we can scale it in Paragon Boards. And I guess it's time to talk about Paragon Boards. So, Paragon Boards is pretty weird, but I think it's mostly optimized. First board, and by the way, I will show you boards that I have, and also glyphs that you may use. So there's like a few options. So first board is basic, we're just running up. I took left and right part to get like more damage, helps in the beginning. Then second board is Greater Hex, applying Hex, Vulnerable or Weakened. We always apply Hex or Vulnerable. Reduces damage they deal to us and increases damage from us to them. It's super great for like early pushing in early tournaments, because you will be a lot more tankier and enemies won't be a lot more tankier. Here I got... No. We don't talk about glyphs right now, because I will explain you what glyphs will work, and you will find out where you want to put them and what glyphs you will have. Like, it doesn't matter too much right now, it's not super optimized over here. So then, next board I got is on the right side. Basically, I went to the Greater Hex first, through damage and vulnerable damage, then through maximum life. I went for Abyss damage and willpower, through Glyph Socket, to more damage and willpower, and then to the right side. So here we got Demonic Speculous. Damaging enemy with demonology skills, shreds them, and we deal more damage to them We're using demonology skills, all of them basically demonology skills, so that's super powerful. On the bottom side it's maximum life and resistance, and we're going for our glyph socket and rare node over here for maximum wrath, willpower, and abyssal damage. Then we're going to the top side through critical hit chance and maximum life, and this board is Fat Homeless, so Fat Homeless is over here. I'm going to the left side, so damage to Fat Homeless, through armor to glyph socket. Then we will take most of close nodes for more damage. That's mostly like super end game. And on the left side, our last final board is Overmind. Abyssal skills deals increased damage to crowd control enemies and increased damage to elites. So that's nice super end game stuff. And we always crowd control enemies with slow, with pulls, and that's pretty much works. And then from the bottom right, I will go to the top left to glyph socket and take all these shiny nodes over here. So that's like the build. Now, what about glyphs? So glyphs, again, you can drop them wherever you like and then just check boards where they are having more sense. I got Eliminator, it grants bonus to normal nodes, and Demonology skills deals increased damage by 20% if you upgrade it to legendary tier. Why we want this bonus to normal nodes? It's super weird, I would say, but in this socket I found there's a lot of normal nodes, especially like dexterity, strength, and intelligence that we don't need a lot. We need a lot of willpower, but most yellow nodes will require you to have moderate amount of intelligence, strength, and dexterity. We will push willpower anyway with our equipment, but for example, to gain another 3% to resistances, to total armor, in most cases we will need to have enough strength and intelligence, so that's what will help us push. Then our damaging glyphs is Wrath. For every 5 willpower, you will get increased critical strike damage, more critical strike damage with upgrades, Abyssal to increase abyssal damage and damage to vulnerable targets, Demonologist to increase demonology skill damage and increase damage while we have Greater Demon. Most of our skills is Greater Demon, so it will work really nicely, and that's what I have right now. Then optional stuff that I recently dropped in my pit push. Basically, Eldritch Sight is also an option. It will increase damage to vulnerable targets. We are playing vulnerable all the time, so it's smart pick. Another one is Mastermind. It will increase damage with Abyss skills, increase damage while in shadow form. Again, super easy and straightforward combination. And last but not least is Ichor Carapace. So if you think you need more defense for some reason, I don't know. I don't think I need it right now, but Ichor Carapace will increase damage with demonology skills, and at the same time it will increase our armor by 35%, which will result in probably like plus 10, plus 15% total toughness, which is not bad. Probably Eliminator will be changed later for Mastermind and Eldritch Sight. I don't know how much damage I will need, how much stacks I will need later, but that's basically an options. And last but not least, let's take a look at our gear, so we will see exactly what you're looking for on gear. So that's my helmet. Basically we're looking for willpower, maximum life, armor, cooldown reduction. That's our main stats on all our defensive items. And that's exactly what I have on my helmet. Also, I added Masterwork affix. I used it as armor, and basically on all my defensive gear, I'm trying to boost armor on maximum life. My body armor, again, willpower, maximum life, armor, resistance, maximum life. So just a lot of maximum life and armor. For gloves, it will be a little bit different. It's our offensive armor piece, and on offensive armor pieces we're looking for willpower, we're looking for critical strike damage, for vulnerable damage, for shadow damage multiplier, for all damage multiplier, or for abyss damage multiplier, and I'm masterworking abyss damage over here on all my pieces. So that's basically the strategy. Also, having maximum life even on your gloves is fine, so more maximum life is better. And that's basically what you will see on all my gear pieces. So my pants will have exactly the same stats that I told you. Then my boots, again, willpower, life, armor, resistance, movement speed. I like movement speed. So let's talk about weapon. My weapon right now is a sword. In this patch there's basically no difference in swords, flails, and other weapons. They almost the same, so don't worry too much about weapon type. You can have any one-handed weapon that will have weapon damage, willpower, willpower, maximum life, shadow damage multiplier, and I'm masterworking abyss damage. I hope I'm using correct terms. Basically, I'm adding affix. Oh yeah, it's called tempering. So I temper abyss damage on my weapons. Now for my offhand weapon, again it's the same stuff. Life, critical strike damage, shadow damage, cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction is premium stat, you want to have it as much as possible on all gear. And if you hit really high numbers in cooldown reduction in gear and in Paragon Boards, well, you will have unlimited demons and it will be even more broken build than I have right now. And that's my rings, basically again, vulnerable damage, abyss damage, critical hit chance, maximum life, willpower. Another ring got 2 cooldown reductions, so pretty nice in premium stuff, as well as critical hit chance. And then amulet. Amulet is willpower, life, shadow damage multiplier, abyss damage, and I get life on hit. I don't know, but it feels so good and feels so safe to have this life on hit. You don't need to have it, but I don't have any better amulet yet, therefore I'm using this one. If you don't know, in gameplay options you can go into open loot filter and create your loot filter pretty easily. I got hide all rule on bottom, then I'm showing everything with greater affix, I'm showing all rare, legendary, unique, mythical and talisman sets. I'm showing all ancestral items, basically for disenchanting or for upgrading them, and showing codex upgrades. And then I got basic rule for my items, so must have at least 2, must have at least 3, must have at least 4 affixes. I recolored them in different colors, and there's 15 affixes we're looking for. As I told you, it's weapon damage, willpower, all damage multiplier, critical hit chance, strike damage multiplier, vulnerable damage, shadow damage multiplier, maximum life, life on hit, armor, resistance to all elements in defensive, cooldown reduction in utility, abyss skill, demonology skills, also in utility, and movement speed, why not? And that's it. That's how you can get insanely overpowered Warlock. I hope you enjoyed the video and you will have blast playing this build in Diablo 4. See you in the next videos.